Joining me now is Ben Whiting. He's the president and CEO at Orex Minerals. Great to see you again, Ben.
Great to see you too, and we really appreciate the work that Red Cloud and your TV network does. You guys are top notch.
Well, thank you very much. We're doing our best here. And our viewers, some viewers will remember that we've talked to you before. You've done a number of webinars, but just for the benefit who may not be that familiar with the story at Orex Minerals, could you update us on the joint venture that you have with Fresnillo in Mexico, the Kineto project, and then the Sandra project, the joint venture with the Pan American Silver? Can you give us a brief overview of those?
Yes, within the Belterra group, Orex is a member of the Belterra group. We have professional geologists, engineers, and financial people that are available for Orex. The two joint ventures in Mexico. The first one, Kineto, is in the village of Kineto de Comonfort. We have a large land package in that mining camp that goes back over 450 years. But most of the historic mining went down to the water table level. And so we found that the mineralization goes much deeper. That is a joint venture with Fresnillo Mining, the world's largest silver mining company. And they have 55% of that project, and Orex has the 45%. That project put out a resource estimate in, it's about half gold, half silver by value. Right now it stands at about 538,000 ounces of gold equivalent, or if you prefer silver equivalent, about 40 million ounces of silver equivalent. That was an independent NI 43-101 resource on the Kineto project. There are multiple targets left. It's over 50 different vein systems in a 17-kilometer by 4-kilometer window of the lower volcanic succession. As we move a little further to the north in Durango State, north of Tepehuanes, we have the Sandra project, and it is midway between the silver mines of Endeavor Silver in Guanaceví and the mining camps of Tovar, which are just near Tepehuanes. So it's midway between those two. And it has a lot of parallels to the large system that's called Lapidaria, which is about 75 kilometers to the east. Lapidaria was recently purchased by Endeavor Silver from SSR Mining, the former Silver Standard Resources Mining, which became SSR. Well, Endeavor Silver has taken over Lapidaria. We see a lot of parallels between the two. Our Sandra project is a 60-40 joint venture with Pan American Silver Corp, and Pan American happens to be the world's second largest silver mining company. We have a long history with both companies, so we get involved in different projects with them. At Sandra, the resource estimate there is about 33 million ounces of silver in an inferred resource sitting right at surface in the Belarus silver deposit. We have a large land package there and multiple targets yet to be tested on that project. Those are our main joint ventures in Mexico and the main focus over the past couple of years.
Ben, you said in a recent Red Cloud webinar that you've been talking with Fresnillo about next steps for Kineto, which could mean a possible sale or a different kind of joint venture. Can you update us on that process? Any progress there?
Yes, I did a couple of site visits to Kineto on this recent trip down, and we have three confidentiality agreements that are currently signed, where we provide a virtual data room with all of the information, all of the quality control, quality assurance data that goes out, all of the drilling, all of the geological maps and sections, reports, and background for the companies that are looking at the Kineto project. So there are currently 3 that have been signed and a couple more that are under consideration right now. It is the case that this is an excellent project, and we have a top-notch partner, but are they the right fit? That was what we were discussing last time, Mark, was is it the right fit for this project and the world's largest silver mining company? It could be that a mid-tier company or a company that wants to enter into the Mexican mining scene would be a better fit for the stage at which this exploration and development project is at.
Right. Yeah. Further to that, you've said that Fresnillo, because it's a big company, has a lot on its plate, and the Orex project is maybe not as high on the priority list as you'd like, and sometimes the process is a bit slow. But are you getting to the point where you think, I mean, based on not the confidentiality deals you talked about, that you're getting closer to some sort of a deal where you'd find the right fit?
Yes. Yeah, I certainly think that we are getting closer. We have the agreement with Fresnillo. We have an idea of what would be possible with Fresnillo in a deal. And those discussions have been going very well.
And then with Pan American and the Sandra project, how would you characterize your relationship there, and what are the latest developments?
Um, as you're aware that within Pan American, they did a joint venture, not a joint venture, a joint purchase of Yamana Gold. And Yamana Gold was purchased by Agnico Eagle Mines Limited and Pan American Silver. So they swallowed Yamana Gold. The Canadian assets of Yamana Gold, which is mainly Canadian Malartic, ended up in Agnico Eagle. The Latin American assets of Yamana Gold are in Pan American Silver. They are now going through those assets, and some of those assets are being presented to us for consideration. The exploration side of it, we are looking at some of those assets that are now part of the Pan American sphere. You may also know that in our other joint venture company, that's Orex Minerals in Sweden, our joint venture partners are Agnico Eagle. And so we have these connections, and certainly there are some valuable opportunities that come. So our geological evaluation team will be looking at properties that are coming through the Pan American silver side. I should also point out that with the changes of the Mexican mining legislations that have been proposed recently, we could talk a bit more about those. One of the things that both Fresnillo and Pan American Silver have decided to do is file an amparo document that challenges that projects that are currently underway would fall under the older regulations, not the newer regulations. And those amparo documentation filings have been done for both the Sandra project and the Caneto project by Fresnillo for our joint venture and by Pan American for our joint venture.
Ben, maybe it's a good time now to pick up on the ESG efforts that Orex Minerals has been going through. Does that tie in with the some of the changes in Mexico?
Part of it does tie into the changes, and a lot of the ESG is getting a very solid relationship with the local community. On the Sandra project, I guess it was the 7th of June, I was on that project, and I had a chance to meet with the Ejido de Escobar, and their executives of the local Ejido Council. As you know, the Ejidos are part of like a farmers collective level of government, and we have a contract that we had the formal signing and agreement for surface access, and to describe how we would move forward on the project. So we've extended our agreement in all good faith and happiness, and we got to share a meal with the local executives. We got to shake hands and have some photographs done, the usual sorts of things, because social relationships are very important, particularly to the smaller communities in Mexico and elsewhere if you're working elsewhere in the world. Local communities are becoming very, very important to any decision of advancing a project.
All right, so some great work there on the S part of that ESG acronym. Let's go from Mexico to BC, where you've got the Jumping Josephine Gold Project, JJ, as you've called it before. for obvious reasons. Now, you've essentially said it's non-core and that you're looking for a potential sale or maybe a joint venture. Can you update us on that?
For Jumping Josephine, it's in the Kootenays, so it's near the town of Castlegar and about 40 kilometers away from the smelter at Trail. And so that positions it. It's a nice gold deposit on a good piece of land where our mineral concessions are sound and our work commitments are already done right through 2025. So we don't have to rush in to doing a deal on that. But there are a couple of companies that we're looking at Jumping Josephine. We're not planning to do any work on that project this year. But if the right conditions came along, then we would certainly change our minds.
Lastly, Ben, as far as the company itself and the stock, do you kind of feel like you're maybe almost like a coiled spring, or the stock itself is like a ball underwater because you do have things in the works? There hasn't been a lot of news flow lately, but there will be some news at some point based on everything you're talking about here. So how would you define how the markets perceive the story right now?
It's a good expression, a coiled spring. What I see right now, we're in the summer doldrums, to use the sailing term. Markets tend to be a little slower. Volumes go down in the summertime. We're looking at this fall as being the pickup time. We've often referred to in the markets so that you should be buying low and selling high. Well, this is the time to buy Orex. Yeah, we're at one of our lowest points, but there are certainly opportunities that are available to Orex as we move forward.
Well, thanks so much for the update today, Ben, and we'll talk to you again.
I really appreciate it, and please give our regards to your team.
We will. Thank you very much, Ben. Ben Whiting, President and CEO at Orex Minerals.